Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to you today to talk about housing discrimination and how alarming the trend is. But, you know, when you figure what's going on in the world right now, when you think about all of the discrimination that's happening, little kids are being grabbed by policemen, getting shot, women are getting beaten, young children are getting killed. It's alarming, and you wonder what's going on. But it seems like people lose their mind when other people in leadership positions lose theirs. It's like, can't you think for yourself? This is not right behavior. So we have laws against it. We have um, supposedly supposed to be above and evolve from the way we used to be. Why in the world are we regressing? Because somebody said, let's make America great again? Why can't you just take the great part, not the ugly, disgusting, just disgusting, oh, the discrimination, the racism? To be arrogant and cocky and narcissistic is not a trend. It's not something that you should want to live up to. You take good things from people. You don't take the worst from somebody. If somebody says something terrible or does something terrible, just because he has money and influence does not mean that, okay, if he says it and he's the president, then that's what I'm going to do. You have to think for yourself, people. So now the discrimination, even though we know it's already there, but people had a little control over their damn selves, they were a little disciplined. Now people are losing control in real estate. Are not thinking clearly because people with money now can do whatever they want to do. So housing discrimination is on the upswing, and it's alarming, and there's a trend, and I wanted to read about it and talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Housing discrimination is playing out in the form of hidden online calculations that companies can use to exclude certain population from viewing residential real estate ads and online. Wow. And this is from Lisa Rice, President and CEO of the National Fair Housing Alliance, a civil rights agency that works to combat housing discrimination. When you think things are over, they're not. They're not. You just cannot trust that people have control over the right and wrong of life, which makes no sense. Companies like Facebook, using proprietary data for their advertising platforms, collecting thousands of pieces of data about users, they can then use that information to allow advertisers to target who sees certain ads online. Organizations like the NFHA are growing concerned that the lack of transparency is those algorithms and how all these demographic variables such as race, religion, sex, income, and more are being weighed to possibly discriminate among certain classes in housing. Rice addressed such growing fair housing concerns at the session Fair Housing, Social Media and Equality during the Realtors Conference and Expo in Boston on Thursday. The NFHA, along with other housing groups, filed a lawsuit earlier this year against Facebook. They accused the social media giant of violating the Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, and sex, handicapped, familial status, or national origin on home sales and rental advertisements. Wow. All I could say is wow. In particular, the NFHA criticized the fact that Facebook ad tool allowed advertisers to use a customization option called ethnic affinities to select which racial groups they did not want to view certain housing related ads that appeared on Facebook. Now, I didn't know this, and I'm nosy. The list included every racial category except for whites, Rice said. In August, Facebook announced that it had removed more than 5,000 targeting options from its advertising platform, including the ability to designate which racial classes could or could not see housing related ads. The company denied any wrongdoing, but said it will work to address certain concerns about its advertising platform. How could you deny wrongdoing, but you're going to work on it at the same time? These people are unbelievable. I don't know why white people are like that. I don't know why you're like that. It's so unnecessary. It takes so much work to be like that. Why? And you know you love us. You know you love us. But you just want to act ugly, crazy. Rice said that NFHA is working with Facebook to ensure that its housing ad tools complies with the law. But she added that issue reflects the fact that the nation still has a long way to go in addressing equal access to housing. Technology is a potential tool for discrimination, adds an extra layer in the fight to guard against fair housing violation. Of course, it, technology is a great thing, but you know what? You can use it for good or evil, just like everything else. And you have to stay on top of the discrimination and the racism because it's so blatant out here. You have to look at everything as that is a possibility that can be used for racism. Let's check into that. And you know, if white people are running everything and you guys want control of everything, well, then you have to mandate yourself. You have to set yourself up and say, look, you know, I think I need to hire some minorities so they could think of, and the minorities got to think of those things too. You know, you can't just get in there and say, oh, I have a six-figure job. I'm not going to worry about, I'm not going to worry about the way, you know, people are being discriminated against, because obviously they're not discriminated against it because I'm hired. You know, you can't think like that. You, as a white person, you have to be careful and hire people of color, and the people of color, when you're in these positions, you have to be mindful and be careful that just because you have this job, it's just not all about you. You have to cover everybody else. Everybody just need to cover everybody. How about that? It's so ridiculous. The real estate industry has been commemorating the 50th year anniversary of the Fair Housing Act this year. But we still have a long way to go, Rice said. Our society is still hyper segregated. She urged real estate professionals to take a bigger role in helping to identify fair housing barriers in local communities so that the solutions could be implemented. Fair housing is a win for agents and brokerage too, Rice said. If you treat everyone the same, you will extend your business opportunities, she said. There are emerging market opportunities that you may not have tapped into. If we advance fair housing, these market segments can offer greater opportunities. It's so crazy. I knew the real estate market and the real estate industry were prejudiced because you have all the black people working in a specific area. You have all the white people working in a specific area. Now that we have gentrification, the white people come in, and when it's time for them to sell, do you think that they're looking at the black people in the neighborhood? No, they're looking at the white people. They're crouching us out of our own neighborhoods and a business too. When you try to go into their neighborhood to try to sell real estate, it's difficult, because they have their prejudices, and it just doesn't make sense. And then you have the black people who don't think of any color, they don't see color, so they will hire the white person over the black person in the neighborhood. It's crazy. So we just never have a chance as black agents, as black people, to progress. If you're going to treat everybody all the same, treat everybody all the same. Don't have all these sneaky ways and gadgets to be prejudiced. It doesn't make any sense. We're supposed to be evolving from this. And I have to read this because it's important. It's a 50-year anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. And it's like we're going back to the days when you couldn't live next door to a white person. You couldn't buy in the neighborhoods of white people. And white people did not want to live next door to a black person. Is that what the good old days is all about? Is that when you say bring back the good old times, or whatever the stupid hat says? Is this what you're talking about? You're trying to just get back to, when we didn't have a Fair Housing Act? It's unbelievable. Anyway, this is all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the rant, but somebody has to say it. Nobody's saying it. So I said it. I said it, therefore I meant it. Bye-bye.